Guys, Brett Cooper is now apparently being cancelled according to the radical dingbat Chenky Ugar. And guess what? Mummy Candy Owens now has to come to Brett Cooper's defense because lo and behold, Brett Cooper says something really disgusting and horrible and stupid. And we criticize her for it. And apparently that automatically leads to, you guessed it, Brett Cooper being cancelled. I don't know about you, but criticizing someone is not canceling them. It's called criticism. I think we're allowed to do that in today's day and age. But oh no, if you are being criticized and you are on the radical left, like Chenky Ugar is, and those on the right, like Candy Owens is, and so many others, believe it or not, all came into Brett Cooper's defense over people that actually had a brain about them and saw what she said for what it really was. She was saying that Ted Cruz, of all people, is being hypocritical for calling a Nazi an actual Nazi. But she didn't really understand. She was actually defending Nick Fuentes. And by the way, Nick Fuentes reshared her. So if that picture isn't clear enough for you, I don't know what will be, because she missed the point. She thought, now, granted, I don't think that her frontal lobe has fully developed yet because she's only 23. She's young, guys, and it seems like these young people need a little bit more experience or a little bit more time in the world, especially not anywhere close to dingbats like Candy Owens, because my goodness me, she didn't even, like, I'll show you the video in just a moment, but she didn't even bring up why people are criticizing her, not canceling, because there's a major difference, why people were criticizing her in the first place. There is a massive distinction between calling someone that is not a Nazi, versus calling someone that calls himself a Nazi an actual Nazi. But of course, we've lost all ability to have common sense. That's not even common sense nowadays, guys. It actually takes a great deal of intelligence to think that nowadays. But of course, I think Brett Cooper's lost that. She's now siding with Nick Fuentes, of all people, which leads me to go, how long do you think it will be before she starts making anti-Israel content? After all, according to Candy Owens, she is the voice of Gen Z, which if she is the voice of Gen Z, then we are in a lot of trouble, aren't we? It can't be some kind of coincidence, right? It can't possibly be all of a sudden, right? She's shifted gears. She's changing her mind. I defended this girl when she left the Daily Wire. I was reporting on it. You can go and check a little while ago. I actually liked her. When she was with the Daily Wire, she made a lot of sense. Now she's not with the Daily Wire. It seems like she's going downhill. I don't know about you, but anyone that has sort of like this anti-Israel narrative, a lot of the stuff that they actually are saying nowadays makes zero sense. They actually are sounding really crazy. I know that I'm not crazy. Believe it or not, I know the truth. These people actually sound crazy. When you start conflating something that is not hypocritical with something that you think is hypocritical, we've got a bit of an issue there. That, like, you're losing the plot. And I think these people love to gaslight the living hell out of us. And it comes to the point where, because Brett was criticized so much, you have dingbats like Chanky Boy and Candyland all trying to defend her and say, oh, it's the pro-Israel crowd. It's the Zionists. It's the Israel first people. It's always them criticizing Brett Cooper. No, just because we're Israel first, usually if you are Israel first, it means you got a brain on you these days, as it would seem. Like, you can actually understand intelligent thoughts and what hypocrisy actually is, and not try and make it something else. But Chanky Boy goes, now Brett Cooper is being cancelled. Hate to break it to you, you dingbat. She's not being cancelled at all. She's perfectly fine. She ain't being cancelled. She's being criticized. Big difference. So the thing is, if we criticize them, it's just we're cancelling them. It's them chucking a tantrum of apparently us trying to cancel their thoughts. And that's wrong. But if they criticize us, that It's them actually, and we go, you guys are trying to cancel us? Oh, the meltdown, man. And in fact, when they criticize us, it's usually in the form of some attack. It's usually in the form of them trying to actually get us canceled or taking us off the air. Now, I'm not saying that doesn't happen to these dingbats on the other side, because it definitely does. But usually it's because they're the ones that are siding with actual Nazis. They're the ones that are siding with the likes of Nick Fuentes, for goodness sake. And they conflate the why do you have these people on your show with you're canceling them. You're not allowed to ask the question now, why? Why are you having this person on your show in the first place? Nah, you're canceling us. Help. Run. Everything is canceling now. Don't like my outfit? You're canceling me. Forget to call me back? Cancel culture. Criticize my dingbat takes? Definitely cancel culture. Cenk, why don't you try canceling carbs? That's the only kind of cancel culture you should be talking about. That's from the Misfit Patriot. Yeah, man. When you have someone that goes Team Hitler and actually sides with Nazis, I think it's quite evident, right? But like I said in the video that I made yesterday about Brett Cooper, even if you slap these people in the face with the truth, they still wouldn't think it's the truth. They still make up some conspiracy theory around it. Oh, no, it's not the truth, man. Now, getting to the best part. Mummy Candy Owens coming to the rescue of her daughter, as it would seem, Brett Cooper. Oh, we're not allowed to say that she is the white Candy Owens because Brett Cooper, spoiler alert, is white and she's acting like Candy Owens. Hence why people were saying that. But it's all about race now. Let's throw it. Okay, anyway, just watch it.
And they don't want to break bread with you. They want to destroy you. And that's what they want to do to Brett Cooper. Because she watched the totally deranged Tucker is Not MAGA Republican Jewish Coalition event, and she agreed with the majority of sensible people that demands to censor speech, to deplatform is not only childish, it's also ineffective. It's also antithetical to what it means to be a conservative. So I'm going to let you listen to what Brett Cooper said about Randy Fine. And let me know if you're just so offended that you think that she needs to be canceled and destroyed. Take a listen to what Brett Cooper said.
Like Randy Fine, if you don't know who he is, he's a representative from Florida. He's the same guy who bragged about not washing his hands after he had a handshake with Netanyahu. He's repeatedly introduced bills to criminalize anti-Semitism, infringing upon free speech. I mean, he obviously, I'm sorry to say, but he obviously cares more about Israel than he does, principles like free speech. So, buddy, like my advice to you, Randy Fine, is just move to Israel at this point. Like, considering you had to go through anger management classes a few years ago, I genuinely think you would probably be happier if you just moved to Israel. And that's not a dig at him. That's just a fact. It's a nudge of encouragement. I want everybody to be happy. I want everybody to be healthy. I think you would be happier if you just moved to Israel. You could be over there singing songs with Mike Huckabee.
Seems like pretty sound advice. Rather than trying to make this country Israel, why don't you just go live in Israel? And here's what she had to say regarding Ted Cruz. Take a listen.
You are so blinded by your ridiculous, insane hatred of Tucker Carlson that you cannot see how irresponsible and hypocritical you are being. I mean, these tweets from Ted Cruz, I'm going to read you next, are a great example of this. So just a month ago, he tweeted this. He said, "They don't kill you because you're a Nazi. They call you a Nazi so they can kill you. Political violence is a left-wing phenomenon. Enough is enough. We need to shut it down." And then in response to Fuentes and Tucker this week, he tweeted this. "Trump's bombing of the Ayatollah's nuclear facilities made the little Nazi mad. Good." So now you're turning around and you're calling somebody that you don't like a Nazi. You're doing this out of blind rage because you're so angry that the conservative base's attitudes are rapidly changing, that Nick Fuentes is getting national attention, and so you have turned around and in response, you are compromising your own values in anger, which is such a dangerous precedent to set. And unfortunately for you guys, yes, the attitudes are changing. So again, it makes sense why this group is incredibly frantic.
She's a voice of Gen Z, so you would think that the good thing to do here would be to listen, to break bread, for someone to reach out and invite her onto a show so they can talk about it, so they can hear their voices. You might recall Charlie Kirk did this. He sat down with Gen Z and said, I'm trying to tell them that they are pushing an entire generation away with their actions. But we know how they responded to Charlie Kirk doing that. They started calling him an anti-Semite. They started squeezing him up into the last moments of his life. They were making financial threats to him. Not just financial threats. They made good on those threats. People like Bob Shillman took $2 million away from him because he let Tucker Carlson hit the stage. They've learned nothing. They've learned nothing. And so rather than trying to reach across and say to Gen Z or to say to Brett Cooper, hey, I'd love to have you on our show, or hey, I'd love for you to meet this person, they're already calling her the white Candace Owens. If you're Aaron Wexler, here's an actual tweet. Okay, white Candace, what is a Nazi then? Like, what? How does that make any sense? Why are you calling Brett Cooper the white Candace? Like, why are you even thinking about the fact that Brett Cooper is white? Why do we keep seeing this recurring theme of Jewish supremacists constantly having to comment on white people? Like, why does she have to be the white Candace? That's ridiculous. Nothing, we don't even have the same ideas. It's completely, she's saying something sensible, but it gets worse. Ted Cruz, who's a pretty sensible guy, comes out and tries to big time her. I don't know how he thought that would land. She's 23 years old. It looks very loserish to try to big time a 23-year-old with, who are you? Here's what he had to say. I don't know who this angry lady is, but she's missing a key distinction. Fuentes calls himself a Nazi. He has said that Hitler is very cool and Hitler was right and he is on Team Hitler. If you explicitly side with and advocate for Hitler, you are an actual effing Nazi. Like, first off, class it up. We don't need you dropping F-bombs to a 23-year-old. Secondly, trying to big time her and act like you don't know who she is when you have done various things with the Daily Wire, including you were featured in a movie that Brett Cooper starred in at the Daily Wire, Lady Ballers. You're good friends with Michael Knowles. You know fully well who Brett Cooper is. And like, that was a super classless tweet coming from you.
Now, spoiler alert. Did you guys see Candy Owens supporting a communist Muslim get elected? And by the way, when you saw the Groypers and the Muslims together, whoa. Now, guys, this is what's happening. You have the Nazis teaming up with the Muslims to go against the Jews. Whoa. Did you ever see that happening? It's like an outright rejection, apparently, of Zionism. The Muslims and the Groypers, all like Nick Fuentes, the Nazis, they're all like now siding with each other. And that's what these new people, these radicals on the right, want conservatism to be. We're supposed to bend over backwards to Sharia and say, welcome, Sharia. We want you here. And a communist in New York City, I guess they forgot about 9/11. But according to Candy Owens, man, she seemed to think that Muslims are better than Jews. No one's trying to make America Israel. No one. We're trying to support the country, the nation of Israel. That's what we're trying to do. And we're trying to get more people in America and in Australia to realize that Israel's not the enemy. The enemy is already inside, man. The enemy just got voted in. Hello? But no. The real enemy, according to these dingbats, and it's like, you know, Muslims have jihad, psychological warfare as well. There's psychological jihad. And they're becoming very, very good at it, changing the narrative to suit them. So they're not the enemy. Oh, no. Even if you can see what they're all about, nah, the real enemy, man, are the Jews. Changing the narrative. The Jews are horrible. I guess the Muslims and the Groypers have definitely a lot of things in common. The Nazis and the Muslims, for sure. And Candy Owens is helping them. And then coming into the defense, ladies and gentlemen, of Brett Cooper. I guess I saw that one coming. I really did. Cruz was not compromising on any of his values. No, he was actually standing up for his values. That's what he was doing. But of course, when you actually call a Nazi that calls himself a Nazi, oh dear, you're being hypocritical, Ted Cruz. You see the very flawed logic. There is none in that at all. But they're trying to make it sound rational. They're trying to make it sound legitimate. And I'm going, hang on a minute. I'm not an idiot here. I know exactly what you're trying to do. I know what makes sense and what doesn't. I mean, hell, I was making videos about the whole transgender stuff. And this kind of reminds me of that. These people that try and make something that doesn't make sense. And I'm like, no, stop. Take a step back for a moment and let's look at this situation with a sound, clear head. Because it seems like to me that what you're trying to do is change the narrative to suit that of a actual Nazi. And sorry, I ain't going to do that. I ain't part of that. Like I said in the very beginning, why are we calling Brett Cooper the white Candace? Because she's white and because she sounds like you, Candy. But guess what, ladies and gentlemen? Let me make sense of this for you. When you are a dingbat, as much as Candace Owens is, she doesn't understand how stupid she really is. When you're as proud as Candace Owens actually is, you don't think you're making any mistakes. You don't think you're crazy. None of the thoughts that you're coming up with, none of them are wild. So why in the world would you understand what that reference was towards? But no, you're going to make this about race. What? That doesn't make sense. Like how can she be the white Candace Owens? It's quite simple for someone that has a brain or someone that is able to look at the situation with a little bit of, man, this is actually common sense. Like if you can't see it, Candy, wow. I mean, already, wow. There's something really wrong with your brain and you need help. But we've said that many, many times. But I think Brett now needs a little bit of help too. Oh, boy. There you go, guys. She's saying something sensible. You have Mummy Candace Owens coming to the rescue and saying, Brett Cooper, the voice of Gen Z, is saying something super sensible. Why in the world are these Zionists saying white Candace when she's saying something really sensible? Because I thought she was saying something really sensible, guys. It sounds sensible to me, so therefore it must be sensible, even though it made absolutely no sense whatsoever. Like, when you put this into actual context, I actually believe that, well, I mean, I can believe because it's Candace, guys. It's a nut job. But we're here. We're actually here. It's as if she is trying to make so many people that much dumber. We're trying to keep sanity for sanity's sake. No, it's not big timer-ish to a 23-year-old. Ted Cruz is a lot older. Hence, Ted Cruz is a wise man. And usually with age, you'd hope comes wisdom. You'd hope, right? Not in all cases, but in many cases, it does. Definitely not in Candace's case, but in Ted Cruz's case, because he's making a great deal of sense. But let's look at what Candace Owens had to say about the whole Ted Cruz thing. Completely glosses over the actual important point that Nick Fuentes himself calls himself a Nazi and he's on Team Hitler, which is the whole point of the why people were calling out Brett Cooper. But no, Ted Cruz is just trying to big mouth a 23-year-old. Wasn't trying to do no such thing. He was trying to actually point to what it really was about. Oh, but no, that's big mouthing. We can't point people to the facts. That's horrible. You can't be serious. Oh, yes, Ted Cruz, class it up, mate. You can't be dropping F-bombs to a 23-year-old because she's not old enough to hear the F-bomb. Class it up, son. If that's all you got, Candace, I got news for you. I got some big news for you. I just can't, man. I was going to say something, but I thought about it and I don't really want to say it because it probably would be too mean. But then again, I don't want to stoop to her level. But then again, if you are saying class it up, I should say to you, class it the hell up, woman. In your brain, maybe clear out all of the anti-Jew hatred. Class it up. And maybe, just maybe, you may start sounding a little bit smarter. Because right now, you sound like an idiot. Right now, you sound really dumb. If you are defending Nick Fuentes, if you are defending Brett Cooper, who is defending Nick Fuentes as well, and they're not even bringing up anything, the core message of Ted Cruz, who really has the problem here? I don't know. Anyway, that's enough from me. You guys take care, be blessed, and I'll see you all in the next video.